Good morning, Foodie fam. Right now we're coming to you all from Moruga, the southernmost part of Trinidad and Tobago.
We have a rice, y'all. We have a particular strain of rice, the Moruga Hill Rice. So we're gonna meet Mark and his team, tour the farm, get the historical background on the rice, see how it's grown, and of course, we had to cook some rice.
Yeah, I'm excited. This is the first time we're going to come and explore this part of the island, so it'll be interesting to see what exactly they're doing here and how they are preserving this very important local resource.
My name is Mark Forgennie. I'm the CEO and Managing Director of Vista Dorado Estates. And today we are showing you all the products that come out of beautiful Moruga. This is the Moruga scorpion pepper rice. We have a pimento pepper, jeera pepper, natural flavor, rice and cocoa, rice flour. And we bring all the nature and beauty of Moruga to you right in your hand. Welcome Shaun and Rhett to magical Moruga. And today where you are, you're actually on the estate of the Alvarez family, Ulrico Alvarez, 450 acres. He came from Venezuela and purchased this land looking forward for his grandchildren and his great-grandchildren. And when he purchased this land, this road that is here today was actually 300 to 400 feet out, south of us. And we're going to take you by the church. You're going to see where the main road went out in front of the church, side of the school, past a football field, a goat pen, and then swung and came to the spring bridge. And now we're going to drive up and you'll get to see the spring bridge in magical Moruga. My great-grandfather, Colonel Forgennie, came here from Haiti in the 1860s, 1870s, and led to my grandfather owning an estate, which is where we are going. And my father, who had studied right at McGill University, studied chemistry and engineering, and was at Carthy as a research scientist. And he, even though he grew up in the cocoa estate, he started looking at ways that you could improve the efficiency in the cocoa. All then, my grandmother was planting hill rice by hand, just a small amount, like a house lot, which is what is called a task. And everybody in Moruga planted hill rice like that, just a task, just the rice alone. When my dad had his stroke and I needed to find rice for my dad to help with alleviate his condition, my own cousins who were my age told me, hey, we done with that. It's too much work, it's too much effort, too much labor to do the hill rice. So I started looking at ways and ideas to mechanize the hill rice production. Okay, I have a pig crossing the road up there. Pig walking free in the road. You're lucky we didn't take him for bacon this morning. And he fatter. Nice and round.
This camera wasn't here.
But that is the joy of Moruga. Morning. Yes, so the neurologist who had also grown up with the rice, he said that the rice is high in iron and vitamin C. And if you turn it into a cold porridge, so you don't cook it and kill the vitamin C. And one of the simple ways of doing that is to combine the broken rice. I mean, them days they used to use a mortar and pestle and pound the rice to clean it, right? Nowadays, you take the clean whole grain rice, you blend it, and you put that in dahi. So simple, original foods that the old people always had. You're combining the hill rice, combining dahi, you add a fruit that you like, be it guava, mango, whatever in season, right? Pawpaw, ripe pawpaw. You blend all that in, and then you eat that. And when you're doing that, you're actually putting the fiber and the iron and the vitamin C with the dahi are going into your body, and they're going to release slowly. Dahi is the Hindi name for our yogurt, right? Which is not exactly the same as European yogurt. It's a little, yes, it's better, it's a little more bitter, but it is also made with natural microbes. My grandmother is a Dogla, so we grew up, dahi all around the house, making our own dahi, and we had a bison. So we were using bison milk in our dahi. right? And these simple ancestral foods are not just filling and healthy, but they're actually medicine, right? And that is what we're trying to teach, boy, more people, that if you eat healthy food, proper food, with a good diet, you won't end up going to the hospital, you won't end up being sick, right? And that is preferential to being sick and taking a whole lot of tablets, right? It's a quality of life issue, right? A little effort now prevents a lot more effort and pain later on. This is the Moruga River, and this, I know it doesn't look like much right now, this was the gateway to Trinidad. When Dr. Sigurd of Angostura fame, when the Americans, when the Spanish, when the British initially came to Trinidad, everybody came on this river and via this river. There was a port, there still remains of the port at Rhett, but functionally the big sailing vessels would anchor outside and people would row ashore in long boats. Or a lot of the Amerindians who still come, the Warao, they would use canoes. And this was the equivalent of Piaco back in the days. People came from Venezuela, Guyana in here. People from Trinidad went to Venezuela, Guyana from right here. A lot of history right here. A lot of prominent families who own land along this coast, their ancestors would have entered through this river, the Moruga River and the Rhett port. And remember, those days, sailing ships, they could not take the chance of coming in those treacherous entrances. So they would anchor outside and they would come off rowing with the boats, right? And this river goes all the way past Rio Claro, nearly to Mayaro. The headwaters of this is nearly to Beach, right? You see the other side of the Manzan River? They both come from that hill, that mountain in Central Range. One comes southeast and the other one goes east, interconnects. And we have manatees in this river. We have dolphins that come up this river, right? Another day when you all come back, we'll do a tour on the river and you'll see howlers, you'll see capuchin monkeys, yeah? And what do you call it? We call them pomy ones, but sloths. Right? When you pass here and no more human interference, you will see sloths coming down early on the morning to drink water to go back up. Well, Shaun, Rhett, this is why I say what you all are doing is so important. Because the reality, you're quite right about the reality. Why did we switch? Why did we move from what was working, what was good, what we had, and start to eat all these processed, pretty things? Diabetes goes up, hypertension goes up, heart problems go up. The known one is, of course, the scam with coconut oil, right? We were told by certain corporations that coconut oil is bad for you. Buy soya oil and things. Now we know that's why diabetes, heart problems all went up. But we haven't switched back. This is the original spring bridge. This was moved from the foundations that you all saw at the river mouth. Well, that wasn't the river mouth. It was about 300 feet in from the river mouth, right? And when the erosion was taking this in the 1920s, they brought it all the way here so that they could go to the port. What you all are doing is important because you all are showing people we can grow our own food, eat our own foods, and be better off, healthier, right? And have a better quality of life than when we eat these foreign processed foods that have to be stored with chemicals to make them shelf stable for months. People think, hey, it's great, it's in a grocery. But how did it get there? How long did it take to get there? What are they using to preserve it? This is the road to Rhett. And Rhett, you all realize I'm giving you all a lot of French names, right? We were in Lance-Mitan, right? Then we came through Grachemere, Bois-Gégère, we're in Rhett. Where the bridge was is La Ruffin. And these French names are because Corsican French people came here after. When there was a settler population done by the Spanish, they actually invited French people and they took a lot of Corsican French right? For political reasons. And they came to Trinidad and they settled along this stretch of the southern coast from Siparia all the way up here into Moruga, where a lot of Corsican French families. And then later on, after the Spanish Bolivarian uprising, a lot of Spanish people who were royalists, not republicans, they came to Trinidad. So you had a very eclectic mix of French, Spanish, and then later on the British, right? All in one little island. When in Europe, they'd have been shooting and killing each other. You see those concrete foundations there? Yeah. And the iron? Imagine those are from 1870. And the two more out there at low tide, you'll see them. And this was where the jetty went down there. And it had a long, it was two road widths wide of green heart, a huge green heart timber jetty going out 300 feet. So that the ships would anchor off there. You see how calm it is when another bay inside the south coast, and the sailing ships would anchor off there, and then longboats would row in with everything, right? And that's how they were bringing cargo in and out of Moruga. When I started looking for equipment to work the rice mechanically, everything was designed for flatland lagoon rice, and there was nothing commercially available to work on hills. There were two rices, Oryza sativa and Oryza glaberrima, which originated in Africa tens of thousands of years ago, right? And one strain went more to the east, which is Oryza sativa, became very popular in India, Vietnam, Malaysia, and that strain was highly adapted to waterlogged lands and thrived in waterlogged lands. But the Oryza glaberinas and some of the japonicas thrive on hill and drier land. They don't like waterlogging. The plant will fall down. The strain we got came with Americans, and then here, if I see some, I will show you. The theory is that in Moruga, the original Bongo toffee and Bongo farina met the wild grains. I don't have any here to show you all. When we go in the estate, I'll show you some. And they further hybridized naturally and became full dryland species in Moruga. That's why we have 5 varieties of rice that are full dryland species. And that's important because as the world goes forward and as climate change makes drinking water scarce, the world and people will have to choose between putting water on the ground and putting water to drink. And clearly people will want water to drink.
Passions like this go beyond money. I mean, there's maybe money may be a factor, but why is it so important for you to keep this going?
Because there are few foundational issues to why we keep getting processed food that is not the best quality as a region, as a nation, as a people. And those foundational issues are tied to how we see ourselves, right? And what you guys are doing is flipping that script. I am on the back end making a product, and it had to be sustainable, so it had to be able not to depend on handouts to keep going. And what we did when we looked at the business model, we created, yes, you need a capital injection to start these businesses, right? Because there's a lot of money. The mills, the tractors, the harvesters, they all take capital. But when you combine in the permaculture model we teach, you then can make the income not just from the rice, but from the other foods which are now going to benefit from the fertilizers, the systems of production which are healthier than the chemical-based systems that are pushed by some countries. And those same countries which have these multinationals in chemical-based food production try to sell you their products, and especially their product offtakes, which is where you chain up with processed seed oils versus the natural coconut oil is a prime example of that. So we had to be able to compete in an open market, but cognizant of the need to preserve the quality. So what we did was position the Moruga Hill Rice as a quality product, right? And work to bring down the production costs, improve the production quality so that it could be on the international market, and now by bigger volume, it could be sustainable. That's what we were working towards, that we are working towards.
There's a large misconception that agriculture or permaculture in your instance is not only not sustainable, but it's not economically viable. Could you just shed some light for persons who may not even know what permaculture is, but could you just shed some light on what is permaculture and the viability of it when compared to monoculture or agribusiness, you know, because there's also a distinction between agriculture and agribusiness.
Correct. So permaculture is when you use all of the natural products around you in a loop. So one product, when you work on that product, you might have an offtake. You'll have the primary product and you'll have an offtake. And you use the offtake from that product as an input in another product. And very often in a permaculture system, you intercrop and you rotation crop plants that are complementary to other plants. We use all those systems on the model farm, and we teach those systems so people see the rice combining with the plantains, with the cassava, with the pimentos, and the trees. The trees actually have a fundamental role. In our model, we have been able to get 3 crops of hill rice on the same acre of land. And to answer your question about sustainability and the agribusiness model. The agribusiness model for lagoon rice, on 1 acre you do 1 crop for the year. And they will tell you, hey, we're getting 5,000 pounds of rice here. Why are we bothering with that hill rice thing? Yes, you are. But you're also using 20,000 gallons of water that could have gone for drinking. And you're using chemicals. And you're using inorganic fertilizers. Whereas on the same acre of land with hill rice, you will get 3 crops at 1,500 to 2,000 pounds of hill rice. So let's say you even get the base 1,500, that's 4,500 pounds of rice. But you will also get 1,000 pounds of pimento peppers from the whole acre for the whole year, 400 pounds of plantains, and you will get 180 pounds of yams, all from the same acre of land at the same time. So now you have, if you're looking at it from a land use perspective, a policy decision on how do I best use the land I have, the hill rice permaculture model outshines the traditional lagoon agriculture model, or even just the traditional monocrop estate model, because you now can produce multiple food crops from the same acre of land. It was only Dr. Harry Collymore who was pioneering the nutritional science work with the rice. And our own people didn't want to change that mindset. They were like, oh, that's only a Christmas thing. That's only a Christmas thing, right? And it was actually the American public, because of the socio-economic challenges in America, meaning they don't have a public health system. So they are acutely aware that if they get sick, they cannot work, they cannot earn. And they are very aware of the high cost of health care, right? So they look at preventative methods. So when we took the hill rice into the American market, besides the history of the rice and the connection to the Gulagichi, we found a very welcome audience who said, wow, I can eat this rice as rice, I can blend it and make it into a porridge. I can make a dessert. And these people were looking at it as a preventative medicine, food-based preventative medicine that was versatile, that children would eat, that they could eat. So now they had a food that everybody in the family could enjoy, and it was helping them keep their health on target. And that, to translate that change of mindset to Trinidad, has been the biggest challenge, because we still have a penchant for fast food that is not the best health-wise for us.
How are you and like how is this rice viewed in the rice community or like the farming community?
Well, more people, again thanks to the UN, to the Global Environmental Fund, we started a training program. And where we're going to the model farm, you will see that model farm was set up to show people exactly how to do it on just 5 acres. And we chose 5 acres because a lot of the small family-owned plots of agricultural land in Trinidad are 5 acres or 5-acre multiple blocks. So if you have at least 5 acres, you can make this permaculture model that is financially rewarding, that is economically strong, and practically simple for 2 people to manage and get a number of crops over the annual cycle. By teaching this method, we are getting more young people interested. Today you're going to meet one of those young people. She's a live wire in the community. She's a cook, she's a stylist, and she is involved in the hill rice as well. So it's not just old men like me, right?
So for persons who would have never experienced the rice or maybe never even seen it, we spoke about the health benefits, but could you talk about like how it compares to parboiled rice, your typical store-bought parboiled rice, and you can talk about the texture, you can talk about the cooking, like how it's prepared.
Sure. So parboiled rice is processed, right? What we are presenting to people is minimal. All we do is take off the hull. We keep all the bran, we keep the whole grain, and the red on the outside of the rice is all the iron and vitamin C, which the grain has naturally pulled from the soils in Moruga. The Moruga clays hold that vitamin, that iron in suspension, right? And when you're cooking the hill rice, you need to cook the hill rice the way a lot of people call it the Spanish way, right? Mm-hmm. You get the coconut oil hot, and then you put the dry rice with seasoning, and that's where we're going to use your pimento today. You put that in the oil, put the dry rice on top, and you chunky the rice. And then you add the hot water, and you cover that down, and you steam the rice. Now we like it al dente, which means you must taste the crunch. There's a nutty core to hill rice, and you will get all the flavor from whatever base seasoning you put with the coconut oil. So if you use pimento, or if you use shadow benny, or if you use garlic, you will get that flavor in the grains of rice. As they swell, they absorb the water and lift up, and they keep all that flavor inside. But in the very core, you'll have a nutty center, and that is where all the high fiber is. And when you eat that now, you're going to taste the flavors outside, and then you'll have that crunchiness. And you can, if you keep the heat on and steam it longer, you can get it softer, or you could have it with the crunch and with the flavor in it. So it's very versatile. And if you cook it the night before, and then you put it in the fridge, you bring it out, you can use it as a cold chilled rice as a salad topping. So there are a number of creative ways that even a home chef can make the rice exciting, tasty, and different. Again, so that the children, the young people in your family don't get bored and say, oh God, rice again. Because you've made it presentable and tasty in a number of different ways. And so what we do, we have the 5-acre block set out in sections already. And we have these roads so you can drive through the whole estate, right? And we pre-plan everything. So right now, heart of the rainy season, we letting some of the grass grow, whereas we have other areas clear, and that's where we plant. And then into the dry season, we come here where you have more of a natural flow of hill water, and that's where we'll plant for the dry season, and we have the long-term crops.
Yeah.
And then the very dasheen is both food for the conch, and then the conch, come here and see this, Rhett.
How deep is it?
Oh, that's deep. This big pond is 16 feet in the center.
Wait, so this is where you're going in for the conch?
And I don't have to go down deep inside. I don't have to go down deep inside.
No, let's see you bring
But
boots now. What was the purpose of the boots over 16 feet?
I'll show you just now. So this is a typical giant river conch, right? And then we eat the conch, right? And we use the shell from the conch and we turn it into our own fertilizer with vinegar. And the vinegar is made from the rice wine that we actually make a rice wine that spoils. And that's your vinegar. You crack up the shells, crack up eggshells, leave it in there for 4 months. You strain out the water, put more vinegar, and it breaks down into a liquid like this. This is the finished product, calcium and magnesium,
Right.
made from the conch and eggshells.
That was my next question, because I know most shells will contain calcium, but I was going to ask what else?
Calcium
what other
and
properties?
magnesium, right? And we can go beforehand, because we'll walk and you'll see what the crowd does, right? Sometimes when the system works too well, you get the natural animals who start to love what you're doing, right? And everything here, even this duckweed, this we drag it out at a certain time of the year before the dry season. This is both mulch and fertilizer. And you hear any baby came on?
Mm-hmm.
If you go there,
I'm
you'll
not
see
going
him
to say
there.
I hear him.
See how the conch are there eating the dasheen leaf, right? Living conch. And you keep them in here for 3 months and they will go from this size to bigger than this in 3 to 4 months.
Wow.
And living off the same old dasheen, right? And then they are actually nitrogenating the water, which goes down and further fertilizes the dasheen. And then their shells with the vinegar become the fertilizer for the rice. Simple system. And the very dasheen feeds them. System works in a loop.
Yeah, everything operating in a symbiotic relationship.
Symbiotic relationship. And these are the same principle with the rice waste and the agoutis. We did the research with Dr. Gary Garcia and Keegan, Dr. Jones. We can do the same thing with the rice waste for agouti, for lap, for dare. And that protein is more sustainable for us than foreign protein from imported species, and it keeps the trees, right? All silk fig start off green, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the green skin silk fig, you see how this has a little tinge of green here?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And even like this one. Well, these splitting, they stay so long. And this, you can see, this is not ripened with any chemical.
Mm-hmm.
It's naturally ripened. So you see the little green on the skin?
Mm-hmm.
But taste that now. Let me not prejudice you.
It's a lot more meatier.
Yes. And are you tasting any lumps?
Mm-mm.
Right. When you use herbicides, when you use a lot of the chemical herbicides, not calling any names, the herbicides stay in the soil. The plant pulls up the herbicide and it goes in your silk fig especially. Oh. That's why some people say, oh God, I don't like silk fig, I eat a lump in it. Because chemicals That's why it's so important. People doing this, and they don't, when I'm talking about farmers now, they don't even realize they're putting poison in the very food they're giving the children.
Yeah, no, this is a lot more meatier. No lumps. I
That's
mean,
really when you get a
I don't
chance
know
to.
how well the camera can catch. So on the outside, it's, I don't want to say stiffer, but it's meatier, yeah, a little firmer, but the inside is very creamy. Flavor is more pronounced as well too.
Correct. Look at a bit of this. These are meliponini, right? These are the native bees, right? They're also called stingless bees. They actually make a honey, but much slower than European bees. But what they do for us is they pollinate everything. So again, you don't need to spend more chemical to get your plant when it fertilizes to induce fruiting, right? Because what happens if you're using the herbicides and the insecticides and you've killed off everything around, for example, your pimentos, right? Then you need to use another chemical to induce fruiting and induce the fruit to stay. But if you have the natural pollinator, you don't need to do that.
Yeah.
But people, in spraying the chemical to get rid of, let's say, mites, they kill off these animals, right? These important species. So you say, well, oh, well, how do you overcome that? So this is where, how you start your fields. Let's walk up there and I'll show you.
Yeah.
Well, we put ruku, plantain, pimentos, ruku, right? We cut out this field, we've replanted it, and now we're gonna start fertilizing, right? And this is gonna get to be 6 feet tall. This is 1 week old.
Okay, that was my next question.
This is 1 week old. And as we fertilize, it swells and gets this tall. It's gonna occupy all here. Down there is gonna be thick like a forest, right? And this is just rain water fed.
Well, I'm not too sure if this question's silly, but does the rice need to grow on a hill?
Yes,
Yes.
because if this same variety were actually in flat land, it will grow, but when it swells, that part when it swells to 6 feet tall and thing, it will fall down. It will get heavy and it will fall
Right.
down because the root structure only goes sideways in this rice. It doesn't get a deep tap root, right? The other rices, they get deeper roots, and so they can hold on in soft soil and they won't fall down when they get heavy. Right? Just like you're planting, you know, when you're planting on hill, you have to put a stake to hold it up when it get heavy. Same thing with the
Right.
rice.
And how long does it take to reach that
3
6 feet?
months,
3 months. Okay.
12 weeks.
Oh wow, that's short.
Yeah. And that's why you can do 2 crops. This is our second crop in here for the rainy season. And then in the dry season, we'll put 1 more crop in here. We use the duckweed. We'll layer the ground with duckweed. Seed the rice, layer the ground. And then the duckweed, any rainfall that falls, it holds it. And it's breaking down into fertilizer. And we just misblow. Somebody would have been doing, this is a task, right?
Yeah.
And all they would have had was rice. So now we're showing them same space of land, rice, plantain, peppers, pimentos. We had yams running on the fig, but it got out of control. So now what we're thinking of doing, we're going to put long stakes and let the yams run up the stakes.
Right.
Right?
So for the viewer, this is the visual representation of permaculture practices here.
Yes, correct.
So we're seeing one row of rice, we're seeing peppers, we're seeing plantain.
Yes, correct.
Plantain, yam you said.
Chiquitos,
Okay.
silk fig, right? Yams, the yams that run up. We actually had yams running up on the plantains.
Are you planting the rows according to the
Geography.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Yes,
Okay.
correct. Correct.
Okay, and that is just to help direct the water?
Correct. To help allow we come first, we look at the natural drain off on the land. We'll engineer it to take out stumps and make sure it's level for the harvesters to work. That's the other thing. This spacing, this 6-foot spacing, is so the harvester can go through and cut
Okay.
fast and efficient. So even though you'll have 8 of these in an acre, 8 tasks in an acre, the harvester can cut through between very efficiently. The small tractor, like you saw, they can come and clean in between very efficiently. That's why 1 man, 1 laborer, and the machinery. And in our model, the machinery is shared across 20 farms, 25-acre farms, making a 100-acre cluster or eco-village. So no one person has to find all the capital. You spread the cost, you spread the risk, right?
Wow. For persons watching behind you who probably have eaten cassava, but they've never seen cassava growing, could you?
Yes, and this is the Warao cassava. Eh? The other thing we've done here, Shaun and Rhett, we have preserved all the original varieties of things, right? So the original cassava, I'll show you the original pineapple, right? These are the horse and the dwarf plantain original, right? This over here, this is an example of the yam on the plantain here.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to ask because I've seen it here on the cassava too.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. You can let the yam
Sorry.
run, right? Because this yam, this is going to be ready in about 2 or 3 months. When you see these start to darken and then the leaves turn yellow, time to dig the yam. And the yam vine will naturally wither away and your planting is fine, right? And that is using, and you see going up the road here, we have plantain yam going up. And then we have 3 breaks in between, and come on, you'll see more plantain, more rice. In here, this gents, right? Remember by the beach when you've been, crush out and smell it.
Wow.
Right? Rub it between your hands. You're feeling that coolness coming out? That's the oil from inside.
But that's
it.
almost the smell again, or sorry, it's a familiarity. I just can't put a name to it yet.
Aniseed. When you used to buy them long red chewy things, anise,
Yeah.
right? Licorice.
Yeah.
This is what they put in licorice.
I was going to say the familiarity is probably closer to lime alcohol for me, but
Yeah.
you know, the cooling aspect now.
Yes.
But,
No, well, right. Well, that's the oil in it. And these were things that the Warao people would use to stop mosquitoes, to stop sandflies. They would walk with this. We boil this and you extract the oil, right? And you can actually drink this. This is edible,
Yeah.
right? It actually helps with if you have internal bleeding, let's say you have an ulcer or you've been eating too many acidic foods. This actually naturally brings back your pH in your gut system. Not many people know this pepper. And this is a wild pepper.
And that's the size.
This is the size. This is the Kiskidi pepper.
Mark, this is a row of bird pepper as well, or this is something
That's
else?
a row of pimentos.
Pimento.
And look at the difference, right? Pimentos grow down, bird peppers grow up. Right? So you can just look at the fruit on the plant, right? This here looking like a crazy vine. I'll let it grow a little bit. This is Sirasi. This is very good for people who have kidney problems, right? This naturally will clear your kidneys, made into a tea, right? It's a little bitter. In fact, people used to make this as Mobi and tell people it was Mobi when really it was
Really, it's
Sirasi
similar.
tea. Very similar in taste.
Smell it.
These are the bird peppers. This is the same Sirasi from Africa, right? It was brought here as a seed, kept, and the root is very good for men to manage their prostate, right? Now this field has gone a little out of control. I have to come through here, the tractor, and clean it up. But the model here, under the trees, you're growing plantains, pimentos, and down there we have the hill rice. And this is what we're teaching people. You don't have to grade down all your trees. This is the wild puadu. Diane and Guti and Maniku love this. Natural food for them, natural cover. It holds the hills. The other role the trees play is keeping the hills from shifting. So if you graded down all the trees, you would get land slippage.
Yeah.
But by keeping the trees at least 40 feet apart, you keep the soil stabilized and you're getting food in between. Locally it's called seed under leaf, right? Not to be confused with timari, right? You see the seeds on there? This is chakra piedra. This breaks up kidney stones, right? Naturally, you make these top 3 leaves into a tea, you drink that, and in half an hour after you drink it, you'll be going to the bathroom, and the kidney stone will come out. Now, if we were spraying herbicides, you wouldn't have you wouldn't have serasi, you wouldn't have chacropedra, you wouldn't have lanis bois, zebra peak, you wouldn't have any of these medicinal herbs. And again, through the eco village, we sell this to other people. But the idea is that right here in the eco village, you can come and get medicine. Right where you live, you're growing medicine and you can sell that medicine. So now when people come to experience Moruga, they not only come to enjoy food, but they can get medicine, natural medicines. So this here, Shaun, gumbo gumbo, the original wild okra. Now the okra, you can eat it, right? But it doesn't taste, it's very hard. It doesn't get soft like thing. But the leaves, the petals, sorry, of the flower, very, very good for managing high blood pressure. 3 of these flowers, steeped, mean put in hot water, switch off the fire, let it draw. 3 of those flowers in a coffee mug of water, and that will lower your blood pressure in minutes. Now you can't wait till the blood pressure elevates too high. You want to take it if you feel your blood pressure going up, you feel any pain in your neck, you drink your tea and it brings it back down. And it's even better if it's preventative. Take them once in the morning, once in the afternoon. It will keep your blood pressure. So if you know you're prone to high blood pressure, like a lot of people from Chinese ancestry, a lot of people of mixed descent, you use this gumbo gumbo leaf. Right? Very, very, this is a cousin of the hibiscus family.
Looks
Very,
familiar,
very,
yeah.
yeah.
Has the familiarity.
Very, very good. And the leaves are edible, kind of taste like bhagi, not too spectacular. The roots are also very good for men prostate. But the stinging nettle is even better. Stinging nettle stops your prostate enlarging. And from here you get a beautiful view of the southern range. So this is the sugarloaf pineapple. And just now I'm going to show you the precursor genome, which is the cocoa pine. Cocoa pine was crossed with the Hawaiian pine to create this sugarloaf. And this is a young one, right? And as you'll see, this field is all fruiting together, right? Just now you'll have more of these coming out, right? But you see 1, 2, 3, 4 already exposed. And Carol planted these so that they come out in blocks. So you plant at the same age of sucker, so you get the pine fruiting together, right? And you're going to see the other variety, which will fruit in the shade. So this one needs open fields. You're going to see the other one that grows under trees shortly. The primary principle was to use the natural flow of the water, which comes off the hill, keep the trees, and then manage the water by creating catchments. And then adjacent to the catchments, you put your production fields, right? And then you start to add, after your primary, the rice, your fast crop, you start to add your plantain, then you add your cassava, then you could add avocado, hog plum, mango. You start to add the other trees you want, your long term. So that in 2 years, you have all the elements of your permaculture in every task. Like you saw there and you saw better up on the hill where you had more long-term trees.
Yeah.
This is the Sohari leaf flowering. Yeah, and here's the Sohari leaf.
Oh, wow.
Right, so remember the other pineapple we just saw? This is the mother plant. This is the original genome. This is the cocoa pine. Notice how this is pure green, growing below trees. This is the original indigenous pineapple, right? And look at a younger one up here. See how this has more of the purple flowers?
And that's common for it to flower like that.
Yeah, this is how it always flowers, right? And you see it's growing under trees,
Yeah.
right? Zero watering. This is important because this is the mother plant, the original genome that was used to create the sugarloaf. Now this doesn't get as big, but it has the sugarloaf has the dry tolerance that this brought. What this has is the ability to grow under trees even in dry weather. So that's why we're preserving this variety of pine here. so that later on somebody in the future is going to need these species. We have the original plant here still. Right. The road went straight here, the road went out here, and then turned left and went down in front of the beach house. When my father went to this school, right, where she goes to school here now, and after the school they had a football field, a cricket field, and a goat pasture, which ain't here no more. And they had to build this retaining wall earlier this year. Otherwise the school would be gone. Right, well, welcome Rhett, welcome Shaun. This is La Belle Vie Beach House, a magical Moruga at the Alvarez Estate, Smith and Moruga. And we're in the main saloon. You have an indoor kitchen, mini bar, right? 2 toilets, 2 showers. And then through here, walk this way again, guys. We have the 8 bedrooms. I forgot the keys for the bedrooms, but I'll send you the pictures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 8 bedrooms, each one separate, self-contained, right? Your own toilet, your own shower, your own bedrooms, right? And then through here, we go back out. There's another entrance to the kitchen, but we don't really use that one. Through here, you have another set of parking, the cabana, and then you have the full access to the beach.
Oh, so persons could come, rent the space.
Yes, you can rent the space. If you have a big group, you use here. If you have a small group, 5 or 6 people, you use the cabana. It has its own toilet, showers, outdoor showers. These are the outdoor showers when you now come from the sea. So you come in here, you wash off from the sea water, and then you can go inside and lime, right? And we have a pit area there under the sign where you can sit down and have an evening barbecue, have a little outdoor cook, roast some marshmallows, or eat your hill rice.
But we going to cook some rice now.
Well, we're going to cook some rice now. Let's go and join Jerome. So Foodie Nation, welcome. This is Chef Woodacres.
Yep. Jerome
Right.
the chef.
Jerome the chef, right? A member of the Moruga Hills Organic Producers Association as well. And today, we are going to cook a pimento hill rice for you and a traditional hill rice with the Foodie Nation fermented pimento sauce. So you're going to have 2 varieties of hill rice with flavor.
Wow. So just like how earlier we was talking about the preparation of the rice.
Yes.
I want to use this opportunity first to show the viewer how it is in comparison to parboiled rice, because we don't want to make anybody feel it's something harder to do.
Correct.
And 2, we want to also exaggerate or amplify the
good qualities.
Yeah, the good qualities.
Jay should put on some
nutritional
water to get
benefits
hot.
of it, the flavor profile in comparison to the parboiled rice, which is almost non-existent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cheers.
I want to make sure we function and we can cook properly.
Correct. You had to drink something to cook good.
Yeah.
All right, so step 1 here, Jerome.
Right, so we have the oil hot, iron
Coconut
pot.
oil,
You could use
vegetable
coconut oil. I use vegetable oil today.
Okay.
You could use coconut oil. We also use palm oil sometimes if you make a jollof version of the hill rice.
Yep.
So but today this is just the pimento. We're gonna use the pimento pepper hill rice today, right? So oil hot. Just gonna fry up a little bit of the aromatics. The pimento peppers already have smoke. Pimento peppers, hot peppers. You know, so you just put in a little bit of fresh aromatics. And let that chunky, as they say. Pimento hill rice, what else is having it, Mark?
That has some
Ruku
and bay leaf.
and bay leaf, right? So you know it already have quite a good amount of aromatics in here as well. But we just add a little extra for a little bit of extra flavor and kick.
So how is the pimento incorporated into the rice?
We warehouse smoke all the ingredients, and like this here, and this way it's preserved, and you have the lovely strength.
Yeah, like that better.
Like a better one, yeah.
Yeah. And that's inside the mixture. And if you smell it, Shaun, you'll get the flavor profile.
Yeah, so peppery, you're smelling starnies,
Yes.
some licorice.
Which is
Very
the
meaty.
which is the herb?
Earthy.
Remember the lanisbois?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Lanisbois is
yeah.
inside there.
Very strong. This
Very
is
strong.
very strong.
Yep.
So it's really good for smoking meats, smoking fish. It works really, tell it works well with meat.
Grilling pork chops, lamb chops.
Onions caramelized, and then throw in your rice. So you can see that seasoning there as well.
Right.
And I just wanted to absorb all the oils and all the flavors. Get the rice a little nice and toasted.
So far we are a little different as I guess how we would traditionally
Traditionally,
parboil
yeah.
rice.
Parboil
Yeah,
rice,
it's
yeah.
different to that.
Completely submerge it in water. Let that come to a boil. Let it bloom. With this one even though this rice already has so much more flavor than parboiled rice, the first step here is to impart even more flavor.
Even more
Yep.
flavor, yeah.
Yep. Because we're using how the rice will absorb that. And we're using it to pull in those seasonings. So when he adds the water now, the seasoning is in the kernels. So even though you put more water, you're always going to have that interplay of flavors in every grain of rice now.
Right. And so answer me this. The outer layer is also fibrous.
Yes.
So am I correct in assuming that will also help to hold on to even more flavor?
It does. And now that outer layer is going to split and swell, and you're going to see little white streaks in it as it swells up. But all that flavor is going to lock. And the heart of the rice, which is a nutty kernel, will have all that flavor in it as well.
So what are the cues you looking for here now, Jerome? In terms of like visual cues, or in terms of are you in to smell something? Is it time?
Yeah, well, I usually leave it for about 3 to 4 minutes on a medium to high heat. You'll see everything gets toasted. You'll get that dark color. So you know the rice is well toasted, all the aromatics are toasted, and it's all come together. So, and then is when I add in the water.
Yeah. Well, as you can see here, no more oil.
No more oil.
Coming here. So the rice has absorbed
all the oil.
All the oil. It doesn't stick into the pot.
No.
Yes. It's in terms of the heat we want, that's probably like medium.
Medium, yeah, but a medium heat.
I'm hearing it.
Yeah. Crackling. Yeah. Yep.
Because it is important. I mean, people like to use time and temperature, but like, why ask for the other cues? Because those are the little nuances.
Yeah.
Right? You know, we may not be thinking it, but you know, we always smell it, we look in.
Yep. But I like the schwa.
So now that it's taken in the flavor, now we're gonna let it just absorb.
Absorb, yeah.
Start to cook.
So what I was thinking with your fermented pimento sauce is once it comes to the boil and we're ready to lower it down to steam, we add in the fermented pimento at that point. Because we don't want it to fry up with everything.
True.
You understand? So we want it to complement and be an addition to it. So usually it's the same. I mean the instructions on the pack, but the same as water. 1 cup of water, 2 cups. 1 cup of rice, 2 cups of water.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's another good point to mention. I forgot to ask in terms of the ratio.
So you just let that come to the boil. Add the fermented pimento sauce. I'll go and cut a few banana leaves to put on top of him, and you leave that to steam down. All right. So at this point now we come up to a slow rolling boil. We don't want it too vigorous. Ooh.
Let Mark smell it. I don't think Mark.
Ooh.
No, I haven't gotten to smell it. Oh yeah.
It smells the natural fermentation.
Reminded me a little bit. Reminded me of the sauerkraut. The Germans.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that would be very good for your gut health with that natural fermentation.
Strong, and
this will make nice a Trinidadian kimchi.
Yeah, boy. Yeah.
This will make a. Ooh. So let's go and taste it first, so I can get an idea. Ooh, yeah, ooh. Okay. Okay.
I want Mark taste it too.
I'll put 2.5.
Thank you, Jay.
No, it's not peppery at all. You want to taste?
Nice, very nice. Like,
not peppery at all. Flavorful.
like a nice chow with a.
I can see that being a very versatile product. So many applications.
That's why I like people like yourselves to taste it just to get the feedback.
On nice lamb hot dogs.
Right, so as we have it there, we just go and cover them.
So is it similar to how, like with parboiled rice, right? So we spoke about the ratio, and normally with parboiled rice, we bring to a boil, drop to a simmer, and we just let that
And just let that
down.
cook 20
Same
minutes.
thing we do in here.
Same thing we do in here.
Wow. And we're going to be doing another rice.
Yeah, we're doing the more traditional hill rice. Same way.
So what is the difference between the traditional one and the others?
These flavored ones will have a different flavor profile. Like this one is pimento, the other one is scorpion pepper, even a stronger kick. Then we have a jeera, which is cumin. Then the dessert is rice and cocoa. And you're gonna see while it's the same base product, the combination gives it a different texture, right? Okay. The traditional rice, people would cook with coconut milk, but the coconut milk is actually gonna raise your cholesterol. So that's just something, it does taste good, but it's something to be aware of.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, we just rinsing out the rice. As you can see, this is only one set of water. So the rice itself has been cleaned before it's been packaged.
So on the topic of familiarity, right? And not to constantly compare it, Mark, to parboiled rice, but you know, like with parboiled rice, you wash to remove any excess starch, any dirt, any stones. Same thing we're doing with this?
Not quite. What we're doing here is just any hull that might remain from the milling process. They float up, we throw them off, right? You could easily, as Jerome had done with the pimento rice, when you throw any hot water and it floats up, you scoop it off then too. Right? But this way is easier, it's not hot, right? And you're just making sure that we won't have stones in it because we keep everything off the ground in our mill, but you're just making sure any bits of hull, pieces of straw are taken out before you cook. Right. This is the vine from in the high forest, and you see how it grows left to right, meandering? That's why they call it monkey step. And the monkey step in good rum turns looking almost like red wine.
You sound like a typical Trinidad where you must put something in the
You must put it in the rum. In the rum. Right? This is good monkey step and rum.
Color.
Yep.
So all of that, so this was white at one point in time?
Yes, and it's been soaking for 2 months to get to this red color. And well, it's a medicine, and a lot of men say it's an aphrodisiac. Good for the boy.
So we're going to do the traditional rice. Again, we like to toast the rice again to help take in whatever flavors we add. Some people do it different. This is how I like to do the traditional rice. I like to put in the aromatics after. All right, so it doesn't get that toasty flavor. It just has a more subtle garlic flavor. It's not too overpowering. So this is how I like to do my traditional hill rice. Watch out there, you. And then I'll just throw in the aromatics in after. So they will cook in the water and impart the flavor through that way.
Is this the bhagi rice you're doing here, Jake?
No, this traditional. I'll do the bhagi separate.
Okay.
But yeah, with this rice you can make it like a pilau, bhagi rice, okra rice. Anything you use traditional rice for, you could use the rice in the same way. You made a good pilau out of it. Bhagi rice, okra rice, biryani. Like I said, the jollof, we've done jollof as well.
Very versatile. And as I told you, you could take the rice, you could take the raw rice, blend it, add it to dahi, or you could take the leftover rice, mold it. Jerome has made like little akras, add saltfish, mold it, fry that, right?
Pylori's with the rice.
Yeah. So it's gluten free, and that's the thing. When you make all these different products, they're all gluten free.
And then here, throw in a little bit of coconut milk.
Yes, with the thing we're making sushi rice. Yes. Yes, we can.
Add any coconut milk. Then I come up to the boil, add enough water to cover the rice, and then same procedure, put him to steam. All right, so here we have the pimento rice steaming away. You can see the majority of the water has cooked down. We tend to only stir the hill rice once during the cooking process, right? That's to ensure that the grains kind of stay intact and it doesn't get too mushy. You know, they're still separated, they're still grainy, they're not clinging together. So yeah, the majority of the water is cooked down. And it's just for this last remainder of water to dry up before this will be ready. So cover him back. So this too, as you can see, it's not as dark as the pimento rice. You know, you can still smell that coconut milk in there. So there's these things. So as you can see, we just need to go for this to dry down fully, and then we're good there.
Hi everyone. So today we are gonna do some roast fish, and we're gonna utilize some veggies. So we have here some okra and some sweet pepper. So basically the fish is already lightly salted, and I'm gonna put a little green seasoning. So this has all the seasonings. So chives, celeries, thyme, pimentos, garlic, ginger, and this is all that I'm gonna use because here is my secret sauce. All right, so it's a mixture. Basically, I'll tell you what it is. It has green seasoning, it has a little bit of sugar, a little bit of magic, mustard, combined with some dried herbs as well, and spices, and some lemon. So this is gonna be the base of the fish. This is gonna give it all the flavor. I'm gonna use some fig leaf and I'm gonna foil it up, and we are utilizing this iron pot today. Now I usually use a grill, but in cooking it's all about utilizing whatever resources available to you. Yeah, figure that. Still soak in a little bit, right? And then I'll put it in. And this is kingfish that I'm using. So guys, I was so excited about this meal that I forgot to introduce myself. So my name is Onika Cooper, and I'm just a girl who loves to cook, and intrinsic skill that I developed through practice and experience with different chefs and all that. And I just grew to love it. So now I'm foiling up the fish here. So I placed my fig leaf. I would have heated it so that it could be able to fold without bending. And don't be worried, don't find the fish looking white or anything. This is just the beginning, guys. I'm gonna put a little vegetables here, and I'm gonna pour enough of the sauce over it. You see, I'm gonna put some more okras. So the sauce is what has all the flavor. So what we're gonna do is fold it up here. So you wanna fold this in a way that it will not open. I'm gonna place this here.
You talk about hill rice, short look we eating. You talk about hill rice, it's Moruga we heading. I say tell them, you talk about hill rice, whether night or day. You talk about hill rice, but we Moruga family. When the Christmas season, times come around, when you're cooking your stew, put the hill rice on your menu. I say tell them, cooking that thing, like I'm singing that shoot, right? Now go ahead. Let this Christmas go. Time it comes around. When you're cooking your stew, put the hill rice on top your menu. Full of vitamin and it's organic. Before you finish, when you come get all the hill rice, because you tell them, you talk about hill rice, all your lot of food eating. You talk about hill rice, when we barangin.
Alright everybody, we have dessert, a hill rice dessert. We have a chocolate hill rice pudding made from chocolate from Moruga, and also some coffee as well from Moruga. So begin everybody, enjoy.
Oh, all right. We topping it with the ginger.
Hey,
Okay,
but first,
okay.
first,
And we tasting it by itself.
Try this by itself here, Shaun, right?
So
And
it's the original rice.
Original rice, cocoa, and our Creole coffee, right? Boil down until it's soft. So now it is the same rice, but no longer al dente. Boil till it's extremely soft. Cocoa, tonka bean, and coffee, and then you let that come together. Steam out the liquid,
Yeah.
right?
Wow.
And now taste the musuki. Mr. Parang boss, come. Try some musuki.
Put some for the parang boss.
Right.
Nice.
Oh wow.
Tasting the difference now?
Rum and chocolate.
But
have a version where we
the
mix
ginger,
rum with fruits.
yes, with kashima or monkey apple, and you'd put a little dollop of that on top. The ginger and the rum get into the flavor.
What I like to is how it still holds its texture. You know,
Yes.
even though it's cooked through, you know, it's past al dente, but it's not like sweet
Mush.
rice. Yeah, it's not like mush, exactly.
It still has consistency.
Yeah, it's holding on to the flavor though. A lot of flavor in this boy. Wow. Cool.
And you see, Shaun, children will like this now. Children will happily eat this. And they will say, Daddy, I love my hill rice. So now your child, when you go home and take this for them, they're going to say, I want hill rice.
I love the hill rice. With the cocoa too. You really know what them fella do to do this, bro.